All right, we're pretty informal with the podcast.
I know,
Huge intro coming in hot.
Huge intro. Geena Urango, how are you?
I'm good. Glad to be back here.
Welcome
It's
back.
good to have you
Yeah.
back.
Was the last one in this studio?
Yeah,
It was, right?
last
Yeah.
one was after Julie and I won Atlanta.
That's right.
Okay.
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Got it. And that was
It's been a while.
here.
We've been in here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the revamped. We just continue
We might not have
upgrading.
had the slat wall.
No, this is new.
Right?
I like
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gabby's awesome.
All
She
the
just does all the
renovations.
stuff.
You've probably been on like 3 times now.
This is my third.
Third,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sweet. You were one of the first.
I
You
was.
were OG, like top
Yep.
10.
Yeah.
At your old place at the round table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
On
Yeah.
the table, not even up at the in the crow's nest.
That was
Yeah,
the original.
that made your top 10.
And that was pre-camera. So that was just straight up audio.
Yeah, you're right.
No camera. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Well, this has been a pretty fun, like, second half of the season. If you and Tony, you're
Yeah.
hot. You're
Yeah.
playing well.
Yeah, it's been really fun, and I've really enjoyed seeing how much we could grow as a team, and then also just in general getting to know her as a person. She's so fun and brings a lot of joy to the court. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, how did one? I guess kind of two-part question. How'd you and Tony end up getting together at the beginning of the season, and then you guys have seen because like the start of the season wasn't bad, but you weren't playing the best volleyball
Right.
you've played as a team, and now I mean you guys take third in Manhattan, you guys ball out again in Chicago, you get your first win in the league. So how did you go about making the team, and then what happened that you guys just leveled up like
Yeah.
10 times what you were in Huntington?
Yeah, I mean, as you guys know with the sport, like the shuffling of partners and waiting for the trickle down. So at the start of the season, I had decent points from last year, but it wasn't like I wasn't one of the top defenders. And obviously, I've always put myself somewhat at a disadvantage not playing international. So I was kind of waiting for things to happen, and I put some feelers out, put a feeler out to Tony, and then she ended up deciding to play with me, which was awesome. But she went to get she got some PRP done like maybe a month before Huntington.
Okay.
So she needed to take 2 weeks off after that. And so we basically had like a little less than 2 weeks before Huntington together in the sand. And it just goes to show that like when you actually have time to develop as a team together, like you can, like it's just great to see the improvement. So like Huntington was a little bit of a test run for us. Obviously we knew we were capable of more. So then having half of May, June, July, to work on some stuff together. We also started working with Angela White, who's my old partner, my first 4 years
It's
on
funny
tour.
to hear you call her Angela White.
I had to think about
that
it
weird for you?
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second. And in my phone, she's still Benny Benson. So
Right.
Love that.
yeah, so it was just cool to see that progression. And then obviously in August we played Virginia, which was a good kind of like test before the big events, Manhattan, Chicago. And I thought we played well in Virginia. We just missed out on the semis and auto qualifying for Chicago, but then we did well in Manhattan, so we were auto in point wise.
Did you have to do well in Manhattan, or when it was all said and done, would you have gotten kind of the trickle?
I think we would have gotten the
Virginia?
trickle down. Yeah.
Okay.
So we went into Virginia thinking, okay, we should probably go, even though you had to miss 6-man, you know.
Big sacrifice.
Yeah, big sacrifice. Because we just wanted to watch our P's and Q's and make sure that we were giving ourselves every opportunity to be in for those big events. And obviously when we didn't qualify, we still knew we'd still be in a pretty good spot, but we still went in the mindset in Manhattan that we wanted to do as best as we could.
Was there any pressure, or was it because you guys were kind of building?
Yeah. You know what's funny was I went into Manhattan Beach, and it was the first tournament that I can say that I had not a single nerve at all. Like no nerves whatsoever. And it was really funny. My sports psych, Dr. Justin Blake, he came into town. He lives in Texas, but he comes into town every now and then for clients and stuff. And he had started working with Tony as well. And some of what he does is he does EMDR and hypnosis.
Interesting.
So that week leading
What's
up to
EMDR? Sorry.
it's I don't want to like
Electromagnetic No.
I was like, that sounds right. I don't want to speak incorrectly. It was a type of therapy that was created for people with PTSD, especially like veterans and stuff.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a finger movement desensitization with certain trauma, memories, all this stuff. But I don't. You might need to look that
Google
up.
it,
Yeah,
people.
Google it. Yeah. And so I had actually done a session with him the week leading up to Manhattan. We mostly did hypnosis stuff, and I almost. I mean, who knows if it was that? But I will say, like, that was one thing I did very differently going into the event, and something must have clicked because I was playing so present and with no nerves, no pressure, and it was very cool and different, I will say.
Was it uncomfortable going into it? 'Cause sometimes I get uncomfortable without the nerves.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know, am I too relaxed?
Yeah.
Like, how did you, or you just leaned into it and just like, I'm just going to let this be it?
Yeah, I kind of just leaned into it. And Tony had also worked with him that week too, and I don't want to speak on her behalf of what she did with him, but she was like very present also, I noticed, and we were very connected as a team. And I thought that unifying factor, along with Benny there and Dr. J there, was just a really like nice, trusting circle that we had around ourselves.
Did it take a second to get Tony to buy in to try that? Because sometimes if you ask, hey, I'm going to try this meditation, or you got the energy guy in Bali, like it can sound a little woo-woo.
Yeah.
And I'm all for the woo-woo stuff.
Yeah.
I'm bought in. But it might take a younger player like Tony a second. Like, this is a little weird.
Yeah. No, she's been so open-minded our whole partnership. She was immediately like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's try it. Da-da-da. So she was totally bought in.
It's kind of like a new time too, right? Like, I guess that generation. How old is Tony again?
She just turned 28.
20,
So
yeah.
she's like
so she's
younger
generation.
yeah.
Younger for American standards.
She's borderline Gen Z.
Yeah.
Like, I think our generation was like borderline, where it was like weird when we were younger, and then we were kind of the classes that like got into it and like made it okay and cool.
Yeah.
So now, like, yeah, you could like probably ask some 16-year-old in high school. Oh yeah, I do it all the time. I meditate every morning. Like, what?
That's so
I
true.
don't know if that's true, but
Yeah.
but I'm sure it's more. I know it's more accepted now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's cool. I mean, because I went to a couple LMU practices just to see how John coaches, and he always does kind of 10 minutes of mindfulness. And then at FSU, I was just there for a week, and they do kind of their warm-up and then a couple minutes of breathing after before they get into it. I just think it's it's had its moment now, and now it's, if you're not doing it, people are like, what are you doing?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, and Benny's definitely implemented a lot of that stuff into our practices too, what she's learned from John and her own philosophy as well. So it's been cool to be challenged in different ways from a drill standpoint, which can be very frustrating at times, but also it's a lot of problem-solving skills that are helpful too.
Yeah. How was it having, so when we say Benny, it's Angela Benson, now Angela White, coaches at LMU and your former partner. Actually, the first AVP I ever went to was the rainy New Orleans final that you made. I want to say you played Kim DiCello and Kendra Van Zwieten.
Yeah, we lost 15-13 in the third.
Yeah.
It was like 30-mile-per-hour gusty winds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one of my most distinct memories of that. One, the qualifier was shortened to games of 11, 11, and 7.
Yeah.
I played like one of the longest matches in the qualifiers, like 19 minutes. Lost like 7-4 in the third set.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, but Jake Gibb tossed his jump serve, and gust of wind took it, and he dove and poked it. That was his serve.
And it was legal.
Wow. But how was it switching that relationship? Because, I mean, you and Benny haven't been partners for a long time. I feel like you had that nice distance, and then there was probably no weirdness when she was your coach.
No, not at all. I mean, Benny's one of my best friends still to this day, and when we asked her to start working with us, she was obviously interested, but it's just she knows how to like, what am I trying to say? She speaks to me in a way where I respond well to it. I resonate with it because she's played with me. She knows what's going to help me, and I think Tony has a lot of respect for her too, because I find that when Benny was playing, their styles of play were a little similar, as far as, like their line shot, favorite shot, know. But I also think that having the ties to having both gone to LSU and having that similar experience in life and all that stuff is cool for them to bond on too. So yeah, it's been fun and different, and I'm just so happy. I was so happy when Benny moved here and took that LMU job, and so it's been great to spend more time with her and her kids and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you worked with her before, or was this the first year that it was
First time.
she was your coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it did she surprise you at all with her coaching style?
Yeah, it's funny. We joked about it a little bit because as a player on the court, she was a little more like fiery and like angry, very competitive. And with us, she's like super calm, cool, collected, which is how she is off the court too. But it was funny to just see the difference of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you spend enough time around John Mayer, nothing bothers you.
Yeah. That's
That's
true.
one of the calmest dudes in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've probably worked with a wide variety of coaches.
Yeah, I worked with Nancy Mason / Reynolds for a
That's
really
right.
long time too. She's amazing, and I mean I worked with her for probably like 6-7 years. I
Yeah.
want to say. I have been able to sprinkle in a little bit with Jeff Conover in the past too,
Okay.
who I think is one of the best coaches ever. I wish that he could coach more. And
Yeah, what's he up to?
he works for the city of Manhattan Beach.
Oh.
He's actually he's one of the people that's like. One of his jobs is being in charge of all the permits that happen in the city.
Okay.
But obviously it's an amazing job. It's great benefits.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Yeah. So, so I've really enjoyed a lot of the coaches I've worked with, and obviously Eric has also helped me too.
Yeah.
I don't want to discredit that. And he's an amazing coach, but it definitely was tough, a lot close to home.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
And he just is such a volleyball mind, and he loves it.
Yeah.
And it's like he's got so much to say, which is so amazing. So yeah, it was, we learned that maybe it wasn't best for us, but I love him to death, and I'm so appreciative of all the help and support he's always given me too.
Yeah.
Didn't he start his own little club?
Yeah. He started Strandside, which is actually trains down here in Hermosa, and it's middle school and high school age kids, boys and girls, which is, I just think, awesome that he's doing boys because there aren't really a lot of opportunities for them.
True.
So, they've been he does it with Cole Fears, and they've been having a fun time down there.
Yeah.
That's probably good because I'm sure that he has so much pent up energy from not being able to play.
You should see him trying to play me in short court in our backyard. Like, that kid is so competitive, and he's like, I've had this built up for so long, and I'm like, I just want to pepper a little bit. I don't know.
He's just like pounding balls.
Yeah, yep, literally.
You have a
pounding.
sweet backyard setup though.
Yeah,
I love that.
I bought like one of those pool nets on Amazon for $20.
Okay.
And Jimmy rigged it up, and then he puts cones out for the lines. I don't know if you've seen Jake Gibbs in his backyard.
Yes.
I'm like,
Maybe
that's
on
next
Instagram,
level.
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause
his is like a legit baby court
Yeah.
net.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I think I've seen
But they have
Instagram.
Pretty sweet.
But they have fake grass, which is like our dream. Like that would be a dream because the management company that owns or that works with our house was like, yeah, your grass is dying. You guys need to.
Stop playing volleyball.
Yeah. So we had to cut it for a little bit and put the sprinklers on. So it's but it's back in.
Turf's the way to go.
Dream
Yeah.
killers.
Yeah.
Sean Scott has one too.
The little
Oh
baby
yeah,
court.
he does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They have a little net
Yeah.
for the kids.
How big? Someone asked a question, maybe Instagram or YouTube. How big is the baby court net in Outrigger? Do you know?
I'll tell you. No,
It's a secret.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
I didn't know if you knew.
well below girls, I'd say. Maybe like,
Like you could stand and
yeah, I'd say like
Block.
maybe 4 inches lower than a girl's net.
So
Maybe.
probably about 7 feet.
Sure. And yeah, 7-ish, 7'2", maybe between there.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, it's just smaller.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's, but I just think it's like, why wouldn't kids play on that?
Yeah.
It's like basketball. You play on 8-foot rims until you're whatever, 6th grade.
Even
Kids
as
should play on
yeah.
lower nets and smaller lines.
Yeah, and even us at our level, it helps with all the little touches and the
Yes,
covering.
I think it's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick actually, he sort of made his own little baby court at Florida State, where he cut the lines so it's baby court too, and so our 6 court it can go to normal size.
Oh, nice.
But I thought it was the best idea.
That's cool.
And so I think me and Nick are gonna have a lot of baby court battles.
For sure.
A lot of one-on-one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that it's kind of difficult for you to get the top tier partners because you don't play international.
Right.
Have you ever second guessed that decision not to go for it?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been pretty happy with where I've been at. And yes, granted, in years past or whatever, it would have been nice to have other opportunities with certain blockers per se. But, obviously everything I've done has led me to where I am now. And so I'm pretty grateful for that. And it's nice to not have that like extra stress of money and pressure. And I know how difficult it is, obviously, to qualify it with so few spots available. So I mean, I don't regret anything, and I am happy for the path that I've had for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was this year like for you? Because it was kind of it's been a strange year for people just playing AVPs because you had Huntington, and then it was a pretty big break. I know that there was Denver. You did not do Apaka?
No, I didn't.
It was Denver and Virginia mixed in. They're kind of not lower level, but just lower stakes tournaments.
Yeah.
So there's really only 3 big ones. So what was this year like for you just in terms of like how you managed practice? Because I feel like it could be a long, monotonous 3-month slog from Huntington to Manhattan.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of cool before when Tony and I first started talking about potentially playing together. I had been actually training with Therese for a little bit. I knew I wasn't going to play with her. She was committed to Meg, but I was just looking for a blocker to like jump in with practices and stuff. And I was able to drive down with her to work with Mike a little bit too. So it was cool to kind of pick his brain also. So I feel like my season's been broken up a little bit where I like start out preseason, kind of do my own thing, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, then getting to train with Therese for like a month, then having this good time block with Tony, where I feel like we had like 2 solid months. But also she was having to, she's in the USA development group and she's required to go a few days a week to the practices there. So there was still time where I was doing my own thing, which kind of kept it fresh a little bit for us, I think. And then I went and played Denver with Molly Shaw, which was like last minute.
That's fun.
Yeah, super fun. Like, let's just go and
split block or you just block?
We split block.
Split pull.
And we're like, okay, shallow sand, like we could, jumper sand, whatever. So that was just fun and something different. And then Tony and I got to have like the rest of July to amp it up. And now it just feels like, okay, I've had all this time of training and now I'm so busy. So yeah, I feel like I've just been able to, I broke up the season a little bit, training wise, that it's helped me stay motivated and focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you have like a full season ahead of you pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a month off. So we're off this weekend, then we go to San Diego. Then
home tournament.
I know, home tournament.
Home tournament.
Yeah.
And then you got 2 weeks off?
We have like a month off.
Oh, 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're in Anaheim.
Weird.
And then it's like basically back to back Anaheim, Dallas, and then if we make the championship, Carson.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's well, how was the first one?
It was cool. I mean, playing under the lights and that whole different environment was definitely really unique. I mean, we played the 9 p.m. match. I go to bed at like 8:30, 8:35. And I was like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
I think Friday night I forced myself to stay up till 10 so I could try to acclimate a little bit. And then I bought some energy chews like the runners have.
Okay.
Yeah. Which helped me.
So you're not just crushing a Celsius at like 7 p.m.
That's the worst when you do that. You're like, it worked for the match.
But now I can't sleep.
Not till like
Now
3.
it's 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I bet Eric would have loved it. He'd be like, we can do all the things.
I know. Yeah, for real.
More time for activity.
Yeah. So that was cool and different. And playing in an arena is obviously something different as well.
Yeah.
Obviously downside that there weren't that many fans there. Kind of understandably, because this is something new. Mm-hmm. They just came out with the teams, and it's hard to market in such a short amount of time like that.
A little confused. I'm still hearing a bit confusion. Like, people just don't understand what it is and how it's happening and what. Yeah. I just keep hearing people, what's up with this league thing? Yeah. I'm like, I feel like you should know by now. Yeah. Ideally. But also, I feel like LA fan base is a little spoiled. They're like, oh, we already saw Manhattan, Hermosa, Huntington.
Or if it's like not at the beach, why would,
And it's not at the beach. Whereas like all, the Texas stops and stuff, they're like, we never get to see you guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna get up. For
Yeah.
this. Hopefully, that's
I'm
our
optimistic on the Texas stuff.
hope. I agree.
So am I.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Miami might be a hit or a miss, I think, because Miami is like a city like LA where there's always just a lot of stuff going on. I'm
Right.
hoping that there's fans, but if you look at every other professional league and what it took to get there, like the WNBA, even the NBA before
The NBA.
before Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, you know.
Yeah, I mean the NFL and like even as late as the 60s, those
Yeah.
guys were working full-time
Yeah.
jobs
Yeah.
that were not the NFL.
Right. So I think this will take time, and I think that AVP has communicated that they're invested in knowing that it will, but knowing that they're going to put everything into it to make it what it should be. So, yeah, I think there's just confusion. Like my mom called me, and when I sent her the schedule, she's like, I'm confused. Like, there's teams playing in Oceanside, but there's not an Oceanside team. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just certain cities are playing in certain locations on certain weekends.
Yeah.
She's like, why aren't you playing in Brooklyn then, or New York? I'm like, because that's just the way it
Yeah.
is.
How it is this
Yeah.
time.
Right.
And
yeah.
it is easily confusing,
Yeah.
True.
I think,
didn't
for the
even think
fans
about that,
because
but-
we have two
Yeah.
New York teams, no stops in New York. And my guess would be that that's a future planning.
Yeah, and probably money wise, it's more expensive to go there.
Yeah.
Oceanside and Anaheim are the New York stops, basically.
It's just so funny.
Right?
Oh,
Those are the
interesting.
replacement stops,
Okay.
right?
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Most people haven't even been to Oceanside, and they've only been to Anaheim for Disneyland.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, or an Anaheim Angels game.
Go Angels.
Yep. Go ahead. Are you an Angels fan?
Sadly, yes.
God bless you.
Yeah.
You guys have had such good players over the years.
I know nothing. Can't do anything with them.
Yeah.
Pujols, Trout, Otani.
Shohei.
I don't know.
A lot of star power.
Yeah.
Not a lot of results.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Florida State football team right now.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Travis's bad luck
Yeah.
for that one.
Uh-oh.
I go down there. It was funny because I was talking to Nick, and I guess when Jason Lockhead was coaching for 3 years, it was one of the worst 3-year stretches in Florida State football history. And he goes, and then we bring you in, and it's happening again. Yeah. So,
Oops.
might be bad luck. Who knows?
They could turn around.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, how did you guys find out what teams you were on? I think that's kind of a source of confusion for fans as well.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people are under the impression that there was a draft, but it wasn't a draft.
Yeah.
Because they just assigned it.
Yeah, like we said earlier, they're trying to figure it out this first year,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And they didn't have all the pieces in place. I don't think they're able to go to the format that they ultimately want it to be. So I think that's what
Yeah.
it ended up being. Like, instead of the draft that they want it to be eventually, they just had to pick it. But yeah, like, from your perspective, how did it go down?
Yeah. I got an email that basically just said you clicked a link and it was like showed you your city, your team, and the men's team that you're with, and then the schedule. But yeah, I think that part of it, obviously the future is they want general managers ideally to be owners of these cities teams, and then they would draft the teams that are part of it. But for us, it was. I mean, I was stoked on San Diego, and I think
Because you're part of the San Diego Smash.
San Diego Smash, go Smash.
Go Smash.
And I mean, I'm sure that there was some marketing aspects to the AVP's decisions, like I said earlier, like Taryn and Kristen being drafted to Austin because Louisiana is closest to there, or Therese being drafted to Brooklyn because she's from upstate New York.
Phil's in Palm Beach.
Right. Because Florida, Chase is San Diego because he's from San Diego. Right. So, and then I think also if there wasn't somebody that made sense to go somewhere, they probably filled in for what they felt was like a fair comparable team.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like how they finished for the first half of the season so they can make it somewhat even, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we might never know how it actually went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you'd think they were really trying to make it really even this first year.
Yeah. And I
There's
think you
one
got
draw that I was like,
seven,
whoa, what
You have
happened?
seven teams that I think it's a coin flip. And then you
there's
got the
one.
Nitro.
Yep. The
And I
Nitro.
was like, guys,
yeah.
I think
That's the Taylors.
And
yeah,
Kelly and Sarah.
Taylor's and
yeah.
Kelly and Sarah.
Like,
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like, can we get a quick timeout and
That's
someone
like
explain
tough.
how this one
Yeah.
happened?
Taylors are arguably number one right now on the AVP, right? Based on their
Yeah.
finishes.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would
Obviously,
be.
like, taking the
Yeah.
consideration.
And Kelly and Sarah, they got
third, I think.
Third. Yeah, they did.
So they're third.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor's got first, second, third.
2 top 3. That's the only team to have 2 top 3 teams in it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you were to flip Kelly and Sarah with Therese and Meg,
Yeah.
That's what I
you
said
have
too.
8
Yeah.
completely
It was
even teams.
almost perfect across
Yeah.
the board, yeah.
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 Although,
'Cause-
like, the interesting one, I think, is Miami with Trev and Theo and April and Alex.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know which April and Alex you're going to get.
Or which Trev and Theo.
Well, yeah, but lately they've been really consistently good, right?
Yeah.
Especially AVP. But April and Alex, like, they were, not even close to themselves, I'd say, so far this year.
Yeah.
But, like, we know how they train. Like, if they're taking it seriously and, like, getting back into shape, they've had time since Manhattan. So
Yeah.
they didn't play Chicago. Although, didn't Alex got married
Both of them got married.
during that time?
Yeah.
So they've probably been
Yeah.
partying.
Alex got married in Chicago, and I
just
think
think
April just got married this past weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've been partying.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I
April
don't
balled
know.
out in Hermosa with
She
Lexi.
did. Yeah.
They
That's what I'm saying.
made third, I
That
think.
could be a gnarly team if those girls are
Yeah.
even 75% of them.
Yeah.
Best.
Maybe the AVP didn't want to have to deal with another tiebreak situation, so they want.
Yeah. And are they?
They just threw one in there.
Yeah.
Did the AVP? Did they change the point system?
Okay, so
'cause-
this is what. Yeah, there was a little confusion. So
Yeah.
I'll give some clarity. So they originally, like, a lot of people thought that if you won a match in 2 sets, you got 3 points.
Because that was
your city.
the original email, right?
Yeah,
That-
but that was
yeah.
actually, it was just not quite clear enough.
Got it.
It's just wins or losses.
Okay.
If there is a tie at the end of the season,
Then it goes to
that point system.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that point system is actually
I liked it.
is better
Yeah.
because now you have like the incentive to go to 3 is higher, and you get kind of rewarded for it, which I like.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. But, wins and losses are easier to keep track of for fans and stuff, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes simple's better.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good because when they put up the standings, I was confused because I thought they were doing the point system of 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I did too. And then I got some clarity this weekend.
Got it.
Okay.
So
That's why we love
what's
having you, Geena.
What's our current score then?
We got Nitro at 4, San Diego.
Big surprise.
Yeah, San Diego Smashes at 2,
Okay, and
Brooklyn and LA
it's
are at 1.
San Diego Smash is you and Tony
and Miles and Chase.
and Miles Evans, Chase Boninger, and then the LA launch.
Is
Betsy Flint, Julia Scholes.
Yeah, with Troy and Tim.
Okay.
And then Brooklyn Blaze are also 1 with, that's Sean Cook and Cody
Right.
with Therese and Meg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of those teams, I'm like, you could play 100 times and it's going to be 50-50 split.
I know.
So so the other teams, we got the Palm Beach Passion,
Yep.
and that's Phil and Avery,
With
Melon Brandy?
Melon Brandy.
Mel and Brandy.
And
Okay.
Miami
April and Alex.
The Miami Mayhem,
Mayhem.
With Trev and Theo, April
Trevor
and
Theo,
Alex.
April Alex. Who else we got?
Dallas is Andy and Miles.
Dallas. The Dream.
Yeah, the Dream. Dallas Dream with Andy and Miles and Kylie and Haley.
Okay.
And then Austin is Taryn and Kristen with Billy Allen and Paul Lawman.
Got it. Okay. Team Coach Dad with the young kids.
Yeah.
And you got the reserve team.
Yeah. Actually, can you explain how being a reserve works?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You reluctantly get an email. No. Yeah, they asked me and Evan and Alison and me and Ryan to be alternates or reserves, whatever. They just want a team on site in case someone gets hurt or something. Like, the fans are still seeing volleyball. You're still playing for that, whatever. That city still can earn points or whatever. So we're just supposed to be on site before, ready to go if someone goes down. They're like, you have 5 minutes.
Yeah, I
to
read the
warm up.
handbook.
Yeah, there's I think it said 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You just gotta be ready to go. 5 minutes.
You just
But
get the medical timeout.
just a good old fashioned hold my beer.
Yeah.
Jump on the court. So yeah, they gave pretty sure they gave Alison and Evan the first pick on pretty much every stop on this one. So they got.
So where do you have to go?
3 of the Cali stops, and
Oh, so you're going to
then
Miami.
they got Palm Beach, and then we got both Texas, Miami, and Oceanside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
The Texas one should be fun, though, at least.
No, it's all good. I just didn't want to pay for flights because they don't pay for flights.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So if you got Cali stops, you're pocketing the money.
Straight cash,
homie.
homie.
Yeah,
And it's not like they're giving you quite as much as like people playing.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
yeah, so it'll be good for me to watch volleyball and just like step back. But yeah, there's reserves on site, people. So come say hi. We can watch with you now. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I have a bet with LJ Luciano. He has. Do you know LJ?
Yeah.
Austin.
Oh yeah.
Big Austin guy.
Him and I text Wordle scores to each other every day.
Okay. So he's listened to every SANDCAST episode we've ever put up from day one till now. And he said, because he keeps saying how big the crowd is going to be in Austin. I remember the last AVP in Austin was a little low.
Well, the McKibbins fours, we had a nice little crowd.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I told him that if Austin sells 5,000 tickets for the weekend, that we have to end every podcast with Texas Forever.
For how long?
Did you fill him on
We'll
this?
give it. I didn't clear this with Try.
I mean, Travis has to say it.
I'll say it.
Because I'm going to promote this thing to sell these tickets. I want them to.
Yeah. Texas Forever shoots. That'll be our sign off.
You could Travis will do it for you.
Yeah, I'm the only reason I'd be concerned about the Austin weekend is because it's the same weekend as ACL weekend 1,
What's that?
which is like the biggest music festival in Texas.
Oh,
American.
The Austin City
Austin.
Limits.
Okay.
maybe
Yeah.
I should go to that.
It's
I'm the
pretty
reserve
fun.
guy, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Gotta show
really
up.
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Also,
So-
Love Volleyball, is it starting by then?
No, that's not going to start till like
January?
January.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Because I know Carly and them were moving out, but I guess they're just going to train.
probably.
first, right? Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
I'm excited about Love.
Yeah.
I'm so interested in all of the volleyball just movement in
Mm-hmm.
general.
Yeah.
I mean, be it the AVP League, PVF, Athletes Unlimited is kind of on its own thing. Love. What do you think is going to happen with the indoor stuff?
Yeah.
It's wild.
I know. I'm hoping that it's not too many dividing forces. Obviously, any marketing PR is good for our sport in general. I do think that Love, having gone from the grassroots, seems like a better business model. I don't know. As far like
Yeah.
PVF, it seemed like they were looking for investors and
Yeah.
people, and obviously they've got to rely on ticket sales and merch sales, all this stuff. So, yeah, and like I don't know. I mean, and obviously Love has a ton of the top athletes signed, from the national team to even some really top international players too. So, I'm just really interested to see how it plays out, how the fan base is the first year, and hopefully they know that it same thing like us, like it might take a little bit to get it going, but I just think it's also special in general that these players don't have to go overseas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If I had to bet on one of them, I think I'd probably bet on Love.
yeah,
I basically would always bet on what league has the best players.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Love has the talent.
And it seems like the girls that have signed are all like kind of part of it. Like they've brought them on board. Like we're gonna bring this thing up. So their players are taking ownership of it, which a lot of times I see that division, of which I really don't want to see in our sport or in the beach side, of like the players are feeling like they have to protect themselves and like we got to hold our own, and then they're gonna push back and we're gonna have this whatever, conflicting energies, and I think that just slows their sport down, because then you have the players talking a certain way about it when they're talking to fans, and that doesn't excite fans to watch,
Mm-hmm.
But I would be sold on Love if anything. Granted, like I haven't looked too far into the other leagues, but also like you said, I don't like us bringing out 3 pro leagues at once.
yeah,
What our sport and what our fans need is one thing that they can focus on.
totally.
There's 3 mediocre things. You're like, I'm out. I'm not going to watch any of them.
Yeah,
If there's one good one, then that's their best chance.
for sure.
Which we do have that for AVP. And I think the league hasn't, or the AVP hasn't, butted heads with players yet. They haven't treated them poorly or anything like that, given anyone any reason to like not buy in, or feel like they need to protect themselves. So I'm excited about both of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think the league's exciting. It's like, now that we're getting a little older, I'm like, pretty sure this is our last shot of anything decent happening, like in the last 5 to 10 years,
sure.
you know? Or, yeah. So I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like one of the biggest gripes, I guess, fans have with the AVP is they're like, well, it's not marketed at all. And you're super good at marketing.
Oh, thanks.
What do you think we, as a volleyball whole, how can we get better at getting our sport out there so people just know and understand what's happening?
Yeah. I think what's going to be important in the future is being able to market within the cities that we are coming to, because I think a lot of it is obviously social media marketing right now, and the athletes help promote, share stuff, yada yada. And so I think that's going to be really important. I also think that if there's a way, I forget who I was talking to about this one time, but if you think about every other successful sport, there's something bigger that you can do in the sport other than win a gold medal. So until there's something in our sport that you can do that's bigger than, more important or more valuable than a gold medal at the Olympics, I don't know, like it's going to take more for our sport to get there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just like a gymnastics or swimming where people love it if it's Olympics, but otherwise they don't care about it. So it's like it'd be something like a world champs, right?
Yes.
That would maybe come to the U.S. so that people in the U.S. become aware of it. And it's something that happens just like a major or a grand slam. It happens on the same weekend at the same location every year. And I know the AVP tried to do that the past couple of years with like Gold Series events, like with Atlanta, yada yada.
They didn't execute on it though.
No,
because the championship didn't mean anything.
Right.
They created a championship and it was like, I won the championship.
Right.
And everyone's like, what'd you win? You were the champion? I'm like, no, I'm actually not the champion of the whole year. The champion in my book is the team of the year.
Right.
So, but the league does actually have the opportunity to do that now, right?
Exactly.
They get to crown a champion. And
Yeah.
the league, AVP, give a good trophy, something that's like worthy, you're like, how many of these do you have? Can't be a little AYSO trophy.
Right. Yeah.
Because it should be like legacy building. You win one of these, like you're going down the history of the sport.
Like
ring, maybe a ring.
Or like what do they give in
rings,
Stad? The
Cowbells.
The cowbells.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, cowbell.
I
Yeah.
love it when they do
Yeah.
local trophies.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
don't need a local trophy for the championship.
Yeah.
Championship needs to be something that goes on someone's mantle forever. Or a ring. Ring would be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, what are the most iconic trophies in sports? You got the green
Stanley
jacket
Cup.
for the Masters,
green
Stanley
jacket,
Cup,
yeah.
Lombardi
They all have
Trophy.
amazing ones.
Yeah.
NFL has that football on the top of the silver.
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
right.
even that
the college
cool.
football,
No,
that
no.
little,
Well,
the
college
crystal
football
one.
has one.
Yeah,
No, the NFL one.
the Lombardi
like the
Trophy.
glass
The
one?
Lombardi. No,
No, it's metal.
pure silver.
Yeah.
It's really simple, not that cool even, but like it's just consistently been the thing that
Yeah.
people hoist up in that moment. So everyone like,
You know it when you see it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't even see it.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup is insane, right?
Yeah.
You get your name on the WSL. It's like a wood base with a big metal bowl, and every winner's name is
That's cool.
engraved in the middle
Wow.
of it.
What's the dream trophy? You win the AVP championships.
I mean, I think rings are dope,
Rings are dope.
but man, I don't think
Ring could be
It's
in a
pretty
combination with
it's
something.
only
like
four.
Yeah.
4 rings you need to make every year.
Yeah, because everyone gets a Super Bowl ring,
like two-
plus
Right.
you get the
Spend
trophy.
$2,000 on each ring.
that. Right.
You could spend $8,000 on each trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AVP.
So is this like one of those annual trophies that if you lose it, you got to give it away, like
Maybe
the Super
just
Bowl?
like a straight, like golden volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a
What do you think, G?
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I like that idea though, but it's got to have some sort of meaning. And you look at every successful docu-series sports or series that have come out recently,
Yeah.
right? And the story makes sense, and people buy into the story because it's something that they're working towards, some sort of big thing at
there's
the
a
end.
build.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what our sport needs is,
Yeah.
yes, okay, if we are doing the league aspect and we go into these different cities and we get drafted and the whole year is which city is going to win, I think that's an interesting story that could
Yeah.
be hyped up and told, and that athletes could get behind. And
Yeah.
you know, and I do think that the value of having cities that you're representing is going to generate more of a fan base. But like I said, it's going to be important to market within those cities so people in living there can even be aware of it in the first place. But then it's, you know, I mean, look at Eric. Eric is born and raised in the South Bay. He's diehard Dodgers, diehard Lakers, diehard Kings, even though he doesn't even keep up with it.
Yeah.
You know, but that's because he's LA all the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you think the league could or should get to a point where you're on the smash? Should you live in San Diego?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
just
San Diego, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You drive down every day.
Yeah.
People do train.
Or
in San
should you
Diego.
be based where your team is?
I think, you know what, I think if there is a way in the future where, because obviously I think having 8 teams is awesome for right now, but in the big scheme of things, there are so many good teams out there that are just as deserving, you know, to be a part of something like this. I think if they did college format where they had 3 to 5 teams per city, and then you did city duels,
Yeah. That'd be sick.
I think that could be a way where maybe, yeah, you were required to go train a little bit in whichever city you were a part of, because then you'd have a training group to be a part of, just like a university, whatever. So I think maybe that would be down the future. I don't know, when there's more money behind it, more teams they could be able to pay, but
It's probably not.
Yeah.
It's just not necessary, at least quite yet.
yeah.
I think what's important, at least in the near future, and they've talked about doing it, I don't know if they're there yet. Literally, this is the beginning this week. But send the players out early. Do the St. John Smith and what those guys used to do, where they go out early and mingle with the community. You don't have to be there the whole time. No, if people aren't watching your training, then it doesn't matter where the heck you are. But like, yeah, send them out early to go do some meet and greets or like certain events. They're signing autographs at the local whatever, a party like the week before. Make them go do a party. Pay them a little bit.
Right. Or
Fly 'em
even if we had the events, if they'd done it Friday and Saturday, we could have stayed Saturday
Yes.
to mingle with fans, whatnot.
Yeah,
I still always go back to that New Orleans. I'll remember it forever. So because that rain, the main draw was delayed pretty late the next day. So I went out to go watch, and it was just everyone was training, because that was when the actual playing courts were on Lake Pontchartrain, and everyone trained at Coconut. And so they were just playing, and it was like Todd and Robbie Page, Phil and Rosie and Casey and Jake. And they just invited everyone who was watching to play King of the Court.
Cool.
And I thought that was the coolest thing. And I
Yeah.
got to sit there, and I blocked once for Ty Tremblay. Then I loved him, and I played, and I was playing with JD, and he skyballed Casey, and Casey talked shit to him. He's like, that's the worst skyball I've ever seen. Like, I remember this like 10 years later.
Wow.
Easy for the players to do.
Yeah.
Easy for the league to set up, but like life-lasting memories in the fans.
Totally.
And that's your team too. That's not like, I mean, you never really became a fan of Casey or Jake or Phil or like specifically. Maybe if you had a personal connection, but like,
Yeah.
if that was your city and they came to you and did that, like you're fully on board.
Plus,
Yeah.
we're only playing 2 matches, which are best 2 out of 3 to 15. So
Yes.
physicality wise, like we're
Most of the time we're resting, right?
totally, yeah. And we'd be okay to do a little extra if that meant making some memories for people.
And ideally, it's a legit business that we're trying to build to where you can afford to pay the players a little bit to go do these things because
Yeah.
it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think it sounds like the way they're talking is like this is all ideas and in the works. They just can't execute it all right now.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot of new and moving pieces.
For sure.
Yeah. How did the sets to 15? How was that?
Yeah, it was fast.
seriously.
You had to jump. Like, I feel like you just really had to jump out of the gate on. And if you didn't, because obviously, if you make a few errors in a set to 15, you could be down, and then but I also think it was cool because knowing that I had one match that day, I'm like, physically wise, I feel like you're going to see the best of people,
Yes.
right? Because I'm able to give full max effort and not have to conserve, knowing what my day might look like. So I thought that was really cool. And then, just the aspect of having to be on and figure things out early was a a little bit of a different stressor, but I felt like now we have a good sense of what it's going to be like, so that the next time we play, we can be more prepared.
Yeah. Is it, do you get more anxious? Like if you go down, say 5-2, you're like, shit.
I mean, we were down 10-5.
Yeah. And that was in the third set
against Brooklyn.
Teresa Meg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was, so I was talking to my sports psych about this and Tony a little bit, because Saturday night, obviously we came out really strong. We won the first set easily. Betsy and Julia started to, turn it on in the second. And then the third set, I think we started down maybe even like 4-1. So we were pretty much just trying to play catch up the rest of the time. And a lot of people came up to me afterwards and they're like, wow, Geena, you played so great. You had great defense, all this stuff. But I didn't feel like I played well. I haven't gone back and watched it yet, but mentally I didn't feel at my best. And I was just curious. I was trying to rack my brain, like why I felt that way. And I realized that so Tony and I have played together for a good amount of time now. And we've developed this trust within each other. So there's not this, I don't feel this pressure from her, nor does she from me. Like we're trying to win money, but it's not, I don't have that pressure with her of needing to perform. We just play free, yada, yada. So then Saturday night, Miles and Chase played before us. They win and we're up. And I feel myself having a little bit of self-talk of like, oh my gosh, like if I don't do well, I could miss out on money for our team. We could, miss the championship. So there's a other party involved that we haven't developed this trust or camaraderie with. That I felt like I was putting this extra pressure on myself. So sure, yeah, maybe I played okay from what people saw, but in my head, I was not it was not the best headspace I could have been in.
Yeah.
So then the next day I talked to my sports psych and we worked through some stuff, and he basically was like, the best thing you can do is be in the present, because that will set you up for the best success. And if you're so focused on the outcome or the pressure, the outside pressures, it's not going to allow you to play your best. And so I was just trying to be a little bit more mindful of that. And I definitely played a little bit more free in that match on Sunday. So I think we talked about it. We're like, maybe we should have like a team dinner with them and just talk about like expectations and, try to build that little camaraderie. I mean, it was awesome. Like we were there cheering for them. They were cheering for us. So it was starting to develop in that aspect.
It's kind of fun.
So yeah, it's cool and unique, but I don't want them to feel that from us, nor because, they didn't win on Sunday, nor do I want us to have to feel that from them too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually super curious about that. And when I was picturing myself being in the league before we missed out, I was actually thinking like, it actually would be a good idea for me to like really like try to make it a team atmosphere between both teams for that reason. And also, I mean, you can help each other as well.
Totally.
Maybe not training together or anything like that, but hey, if you see something, let me know. Like, there's so many female players out there that play and do things certain ways that I would be like, I would love to hear some feedback on, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't even think about the fact that like, hey, you don't have to, like, no pressure from us. Like, go play your best. Like, we know we're not expecting you to play perfect. And you have them on the sideline versus like, man, I have these guys that whatever just went to the Olympics and they're like riding this high right now, playing the best they've ever played, both of them. And now we might bring them down or something,
Totally. Yeah.
So interesting. It really is coming together as like this team thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is super cool because I've never felt that in our sport. Actually, when I was at the Olympics, the only time where it was like, we all kind of cheering for each other.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I like this.
Yeah.
This gives me a new energy.
For sure.
And then, the other side that you mentioned earlier of having full energy. I'm like, as a fan, I don't want people to see us play really tired. Like, I get the whole, my parents are ultra endurance athlete people, I get, like, we want to see people push themselves. I don't think that's for our sport. Like, I don't think fans are like, oh my God, look at him crawling on the sand. Like, he's pretty much dead. This is so exhilarating to watch. Like, no, they want to see you flying and jumping and diving. And like, it's not that, that endurance part of it's not important, I think, but like,
yeah,
there were a lot of like fun plays and it looked high speed right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is like the playing to 15 is like 100%. A lot of us will cruise to 11 if we can.
Yeah.
Right? Like Phil will cruise through an entire tournament if you let him. But now we can't.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's actually really funny that you say that, because I talked to Bobby in Chicago, Bobby Corvino. He's the new CEO. And I asked him, I was like, can you just give me a rundown on why the 15-15-15? And he said one of the reasons was it's just more palatable for TV viewers, and it's a lot easier to fit into a time slot. Like if they
for sure.
if they bought an hour on NBC, 15-15-15, you are guaranteed to fit in that hour.
Yeah.
And they said the other one was that if you go down big in the second set after winning the first, it's just everyone goes through the motions for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And I started actually laughing in Hermosa when we beat Sam Schachter and Theo in the first set, and we went down, I think, 15-9 in the second. And I told Andy, I was like, listen, I'm done with this set. I got to save my legs for the third, or your boy's going to die.
Yep.
And I shanked the last two serves on purpose just to get it over with. And Theo was cracking up because I was Theoing Theo Theorem.
Yep.
And he's like, no, it doesn't count if you do it on purpose. Like, we're about to find out. But I ended up winning in 3. But I was thinking of Bobby while I was doing it. I was like, this is his nightmare.
So funny.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
And how often do teams get to 15, whatever, whoever's winning, whatever, and the top team pulls away? They finish it, right?
Yeah, that too.
But now, that team could lose because they just don't get up fast enough. I feel like a lot of top teams will just cruise until 18. And early on, I remember when I was younger playing, and I was like, I was like getting excited because it was like, man, I was tied 18-all with Todd, with whoever, Phil Dahlhauser. And I was like taking pride in that. I was like, but you didn't win any of the matches.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, they have something different where they're closing and like finding things and then using it at the end.
Yep.
But now, you can't do that. You have to do it earlier.
Yeah.
We're going to see just better volleyball.
Actually, that's a question. Did it change how you played a team?
Not necessarily. I think that we went in knowing we obviously put a lot of focus on side out, and then serving tough always. Obviously, you don't want to miss too many serves, so we still remind ourselves, like, make them play, keep the ball in, in certain situations like that. So trying to limit errors a little bit in that aspect.
But the strategy that, like, Tri was talking about, how Todd would wait till 18-18, and then he's like, now I'm going to take your cut shot.
Right.
And then I'm going to take your high line, and now it's 20-18, and it's ball game.
Yeah.
But because now you can't set that up for that long anymore. He's way faster.
Yeah, like, I think we made some in-game changes a little more quickly with certain aspects. Because obviously you don't have the tech to assess.
Right.
So we made sure to switch sides where Benny was, so we could kind of just talk real quick and then go about our other side. Yeah.
Is Caesar coaching anyone too?
I don't think so.
I was going to say, I didn't know if the whole LMU staff was in the AVP League now.
No, I don't know if he was. I know he was doing a lot of recruiting this summer and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw John. He was with Betsy and Julia. And then you guys obviously have Benny. Mm-hmm. How's she in the box? I feel like she's just probably the coolest cat.
She's good, yeah. I really like the way she poses questions. It's still the philosophy of problem-solving stuff. So we sit down and she's like, what's working, what's not working? Mm. And so we kind of say our 2 cents about that. And then she'll maybe show us some charts if she's been like, hey, so-and-so, whenever she's inside, typically it's right here. So then we'll make some adjustments defensively if we need to. But otherwise, I think taking that like really quick assessment every time out is really helpful to not only get our brains racking, but then obviously then she can share her 2 cents too.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Collaborative experience.
Yeah, I'm just taking notes on as many coaches as I can now. Like, what does your coach do that you like?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Note taken.
I actually noticed, and it's funny, like it popping into my head now, because like I never told Travis that. And he just stopped coaching me now. But I like the visual when people, right?
Same.
They show me that, like when we had indoor, we had that fan, right? Mm-hmm. And you can just see heavy lines going one way or the other. For my brain, that like picture of it.
That connects.
Yeah. Well, because some people are visual learners.
Yeah, versus you just telling me it's just like, hey, they want to do cut shot in this situation. And they're like, I'm just gonna feel it out. But then if I see the lines, I'm like, I'm gonna get in there.
Yeah.
Get in that line.
It's funny how different everyone is, because that never would connect with me, looking at the lines, whereas I'm more
Auditory.
if someone says, hey, they do 26% here and 18% there, and this is what they do, like just percent, if you just tell me the percentages, yeah, that's it. And then that connects. Whereas if I look at a chart, like I've never been able to make sense of a hitting chart in my life. I'm like, it's all over the place. Like, what are we looking at?
Yeah, I see it. Shades.
What's that movie where he's like all the numbers?
Beautiful Mind.
Yeah. That's Try when he looks at a chart.
Well, we've talked about you don't have any regrets playing international, and I think a lot of our listeners, or just beach volleyball fans in general, I think they're with every 4 years, like the Olympics should be everyone's goal. And I think that, like, I'm intrigued by what your goal is with beach volleyball, because I think if someone is trying to be the best beach volleyball player they can be, everyone would just assume that their goal is to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
But do you have any goals, or is it just to be kind of best player you can be?
I mean, I've always wanted to just see how good I can get, and I feel like, I'm 35 now, and I feel like I'm still tapping into some new things in my game that I didn't have even a couple years ago. So not only that, I mean, I would love to win another AVP. I don't know what next season's going to look like, if there's even going to be events like that. And then obviously now that this year, actually starting the season, my goal was to make the league. That was like my number one goal. Yeah. And obviously winning one of those events would have been nice too, but the league was definitely an ultimate goal. And now that I'm here, it would be nice to make the championship. Obviously there's only so much you can control, with the other men's team, yada, yada. But yeah, I think ultimately I love to see how much I can fine tune my craft, not just from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint too. And, I also have found a lot of reward in being able to help some of these younger females on the tour. Like, I feel like when I played with Julia, it was so great to kind of mentor her in a little bit, in a way. And then now with Tony, I want to be able to, because I know she has aspirations of international at that level, and I just want to be able to help make her the best athlete she can be. So that's like, I feel like those are going to be bigger goals of mine as, like, who knows how much longer I'll be playing, but I would find a lot of reward in that.
35 going on 23, G.
I wish.
Did you know what you needed in Chicago to qualify? Or do you know with the 3rd and the 9th, were you kind of set? Or did you still need something good?
We were kind of set. Okay. I think a 7th would have, like, really solidified.
Okay.
And we knew that. It was fun. Yeah, so we were going to that ninth place match being like, okay, like, let's take care of this one, and the rest we can just really play free and have fun. I mean, obviously you're always having fun, but after, like, Savvy and Haley, those guys finished 9th, I think something drastic would have happened. Had to happen. So yeah, we were sitting in a pretty good spot, so we were able to still just play a little bit more free in that tournament.
So you just got to sit back and watch all the other tension play out.
Oh, man.
Woo!
Yeah, that was stressful.
that was wild. And I think that when I was telling Bobby, I was like, that was one of the greatest benefits of the league, is that it made Chicago, I mean, those 7th place matches so interesting, and the 9th place matches so interesting. Yeah. Like the Saturday losers bracket matches, I think were the most interesting matches of the whole tournament. Yeah.
But I don't think fans even knew about it.
Yeah.
So
you had to have had the Excel spreadsheet ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your next league match is so this will go up what's today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
It won't be tomorrow, it'll be the next Wednesday.
Well, then I'll be playing that weekend.
All right. You're playing that weekend.
San Diego.
And you are in
San Diego, yeah.
You're in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you play?
We're going to play the Nitro.
The Nitro.
Nitro.
Which is Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes.
And then we play Miami. Mayhem. So Alex and April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayhem.
Gotta say it like that. Feels like American Gladiators.
Yeah. Awesome, G. Well, where can people follow along with you in the San Diego Smash?
San Diego Smash? Well, You can buy tickets on avp.com.
Boom.
You can follow me at Urango, where I'm posting lots of stuff all about it. So
Perfect.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Glad to have you in the new upgraded studio.
Thank you for having
Welcome
me.
back to round 3 on the SANDCAST.
Yeah.
LJ,
Smash.
I'm not saying Texas forever yet. I'm saying San Diego smash. Shoots.
Shoot.
Oh my God, LJ's